What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dark Game Channel. My name's AJ Gels. How y'all doing? It is time once more for the weekly show. Late but not forgotten. I am so sorry that this is late, guys. Hell, this is actually a little later than I wanted to do it because I wanted to do this late last night. Problem was, I felt like shit. I had very little. I spent very little time just in my office, my recording studio, room, whatever the fuck you want to call this place that I record in. I spent very little time around my consoles and computer and everything. I think the only things I did was finish editing a Fire Emblem video that went up earlier today and find out that my PlayStation account might have been hacked. I can't tell. All I know is that my PS4 Pro is no longer listed as my primary console, and my regular PlayStation 4, it didn't somehow get magically switched over. So I don't know if somebody got access to my account, did that thing on the on the internet where you can remotely deactivate everything. You can only do it once every like 6 months or so, but apparently somebody might have deactivated my consoles and activated theirs as the primary unit. So fantastic. I don't know. I'm gonna have to call Sony support or whatever and try and get this fixed. But, or if there's even an issue, I don't know. Nothing's been, like, purchased on my account or anything. It's just, I don't know. I'm paranoid. Either way, what do we actually have folks on the show this weekend? If you're new to the show, basic idea of the show, we read video game articles, we watch videos, I sit here, we give my opinions on them, you let me know what you guys think down in the comments, etc., etc., etc. After 181 episodes of this show, do I have to keep explaining what we do here? Either way, basically what we're going to be looking at this week, as the title pretty much says, we're going to be talking about the PS5. There wasn't, as far as I could tell, there was an announcement. They revealed the logo. I'm not sure how much they talked about it at CES, but I believe there's going to be like an actual like PlayStation meeting or something in a couple months. I think it's sometime in the spring that they're going to be giving us a lot firmer details. So this article here in Games Radar is going to be everything that we know about the PS5. Apparently there's some features that we don't know about the PS5 that are going to be really cool. It's going to really set it apart from the PS4 or whatever. It got something on Xbox, another thing of how PlayStation's planning on marketing the PS5. Last thing before we actually hop into the news, I'm going to say about the PS5. I don't get why everybody's, or what's going on with people hating on the new logo of the PS5. I mean, we're seeing it right there. I thought this, I don't get it. Like, people are like surprised or like, it's a topic of conversation. And I think that's the thing that surprises me, that people are like, oh, have you seen the PS5 logo? I'm like, yeah, it looks like I thought it would. I don't get it. But unless somebody can tell me that's not what it's about, that it's about something else. But I guess I don't fully understand it. Either way, after all the console stuff, we've got one actual like game article, and that's about some rumors and some stuff surrounding Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, which is supposedly going to be the next Assassin's Creed game, I believe, launching this September, according to the article. But we'll look a little bit more into that. Like the concept, I don't know, we'll see. Other than that, we've got a couple videos. One is going to be the trailer of the next Apex Legends sort of event or whatever that's going to be going on tomorrow, which actually me and Akira Touchdown, good friend of the channel, by the way, me and him will be streaming some of that tomorrow. I can't give you a definitive time, mostly because I have to work tonight, so it depends on how busy we are tonight and just everything, so how long I sleep tomorrow. Basically, but I'll put something out on Twitter, when we're kind of getting ready within like a half hour or so of starting. And again, hit the little bell icon, stay up to date on what we're doing on the channel, and you'll see the stream here. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh yes, we do have one other video. We're going to be watching the Pokemon Direct that Nintendo threw out, because we're seeing the DLC expansions that are coming to Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you want to know my opinions kind of straight up, without actually having sat down and seen the Direct. I actually haven't seen the Direct. I've only read about what we're going to be seeing. I don't know. I think the expansions sound kind of cool, but yeah, I'll get more into my thoughts on Sword and Shield later on, because I've rambled enough here. Holy shit, about 5 minutes. So sorry about that. Let's actually get into the news. By the way, timestamps are down in the description as always if you want to hop around. So, actually, reading this first article, Sam Loveridge, everything you need to know about the PS5, release date, launch games, and more. The article reads, 2020 is finally here, and it's the year that the PS5 becomes a reality. Not only do we have the official name PS5 and the logo, but we also know it has a release date for holiday 2020. Plus, we know it's got some competition in the form of the Xbox Series X, but is that really surprising? Which is also coming in holiday 2020, and no, we even... So I think they were trying to write now and wrote no. That's slipped by an editor. And now we even know what it looks like. Your turn, Sony. Interestingly, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan states that there's a lot more news to come about the PS5. He said that the console has a number of, quote, unique elements that'll make it stand out from its predecessors that have yet to be announced. Quote, with every new console, the processor and graphics get better, which is, of course, compelling, but we need to have unique elements too, explained Ryan in an interview with Business Insider. Apparently, many of these, quote, bigger differences between PS5 and PS4 haven't yet been announced. Also, in a recent Wired article, PS5 architect Mark Cerny, the man also responsible for leading work on the PS4, gave us a bumper of info about the upcoming PS5 specs alongside hints that we can expect from the PS5 price. The TLDR version is that it'll be backwards compatible with PS4. I love that idea. We'll have a disk drive. Also, I like that they're keeping discs and all that stuff. It's been in development for over 4 years. A number of studios are already working on PS5 games. It'll boast 8K graphics and support for ray tracing. The under the hood will be a custom-made AMD CPU and GPU. All that combined with the new information means that there's actually quite a lot we do know now about the PS5. So here we go. I should have done that in a Mario voice, but this is a Sony article, so we'll stick without doing the Mario voice. Sony has now confirmed that the PS5's release date is set for holiday 2020. Quote, their update, blah, blah, blah. I mean, okay, we know it's going to be in the holidays. It's going to be, I'd guess, within a week or two of Xbox. I don't think either of them is going to try and, we're going to release a month away from each other. No, I think it's going to be, right on top of each other. My opinion, though. Let's see here. For a more specific idea of the PS5 release date, a new rumor has pegged the console's launch down for November 20th of next year, simultaneously stating that it'll be selling for the day one price of $499 in the United States. For comparison, the PS4's initial cost was $399, which brings us nicely onto our next point. How much will the PS5 cost? After the big Wired article that officially confirmed the PS5, Wired's Peter Rubin took to Twitter to relay information that hadn't made it into the original article. That included slight hints towards the potential cost of the PS5. According to Rubin, PS5 architect, Mark Cerny, said that he believes that we will be able to release it at an SRP. I believe that's standard retail price. I believe that's what that means. Check me on it. That will be appealing to gamers in light of its advanced feature set, end quote. When pressed on whether that means it will cost more than the PS4's launch price, he wouldn't give any further details, simply saying, quote, that's about all I can say about it, end quote. What it translates to, though, is the price will be relevant to the technology that's under the hood, and because it will be more powerful than the PS4, you can probably bet it will be more expensive, too. Our prediction is that they're missing a word there, circle the $500 price point, but only time will tell. I was talking with, holy crap, I believe it was Brian Gade in the comments of last week's video. And I said, I have a feeling the PS5 is going to be $400. Now, feel free to completely disregard that prediction because it's entirely a vibe I'm getting. I don't know why. I have no evidence to back that up. But my guess is that plan on that 500 and be pleasantly surprised if it's 4, if that makes sense. That's just the feeling I'm getting. I'm willing to bet you that 500 is what it's going to come down to. But again, for some reason I'm getting some weird vibe. Like the universe is telling me here that the PS5 is going to end up being 400. But I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by this advertisement. I actually like that show. I caught it on Netflix. It's not bad, and I know I'm saying it's a sci-fi show, but It's actually not bad, in my opinion. Sorry, let's get on to, back onto what we're doing. The PS5 logo is rather familiar. At CES 2020, Sony revealed the official PS5 logo, and as you can see above, it's not exactly much of a surprise. It's exactly the same as the PS3 and PS4 logos, but with a rather slick 5 at the end. Again, people have been there has been conversations on Twitter about the new logo. I do not understand it. I think it looks exactly how we should think it would look. Sony's this is let's see here, the specs and performance. Sony has already confirmed that the PS5 will be running on an AMD CPU chip that's based on the third generation of AMD's Ryzen line. Okay, if anybody knows what any of this means and wants to tell me in the comments, feel free, because all this technical stuff, that's for smarter people than I am. So I'm just going to kind of read through this here. It'll be an 8-core custom-made beast based on the company's new CNM Zen 2 micro architecture. The CPU is a custom variant of AMD's Radeon's Navi family and will support ray tracing, an effect that is a staple of Hollywood and one that's beginning to appear in high-end PC processors and the NVIDIA's RTX gaming line. It's God damn it, it's admittedly disconcerting to think a next-generation console could be running on 3-year-old hardware by the time it comes out. Fortunately, in June of last year, a few industry sources speaking with Forbes contributor Jason Evangelo, hopefully that's correct, emerged under the guise of anonymity to clear up some of the erroneous reports surrounding what's really under the hood of the PS5. Their forecast, at least for its graphics, the PS5 is going to harness the power of the last generation Zen CPU architecture in conjunction with the AMD's freshly revealed Navi graphics architecture. A big part of the GPU setup will be support for 8K resolutions and ray tracing in PS5 games. The latter is a technology that greatly improves the visual fidelity in games as it mimics the way light moves and bounces from object to object, particularly reflective surfaces and refraction through water, other liquids, and glass. Given the proper optimization, games could exhibit more realistic lighting and shadows as a result. In the same Wired interview, Cerny went on to say ray tracing isn't just about visuals, it can yield audio enhancements for players and developers alike. See, I'm people sitting there going, oh, well, the next generation consoles are going to have old hardware in them. Yeah, I mean, maybe 3 years is more than usual, but is that really surprising that the next generation of consoles is going to be behind PCs when it comes to hardware? Isn't that just generally how it goes? Quotes, if you wanted to run tests to see if players can hear certain audio sources or if the enemies can hear the player's footsteps, ray tracing is useful for that, he says. It's all the same as taking a ray through the environment, end quote. It turns out that Sony is also adding a custom unit for 3D audio in the PS5 too, taking the attention to audio and sound improvements to the next level for its upcoming console. Quote, as a gamer, said Cerny, it's been a little bit of a frustration that audio did not change too much between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. With the next console, the dream is to show how dramatically different the audio experience can be when we apply significant amounts of hardware horsepower to it, end quote. For gamers, though, at least from my perspective, one of the biggest new improvements for the PS5 will be a huge decrease in loading times. Thank you, Jesus Christ. At a corporate strategy event earlier this year, Sony's first PS5 gameplay reveal demonstrated footage that compared Spider-Man PS4 running on both the current-gen system and the PS5. The experience was reduced by tech journalist Takashi Mochizuki, and it clearly showed that Marvel Spider-Man takes 8.10 seconds to load, whereas on the PS5, the load time is shortened to just 0.8 seconds. No, that's not a typo. Take a look below. You can go ahead, follow the link down in the description if you'd like to see that. Thanks to the fact that the PS5 is switching from disk-based hard drives to SSDs, Sony is also changing its approach to how we store games on the next-gen console. You'll be able to configure exactly what parts of games you want to store on your machine, allowing a finer-grained access to the data. That means you'll be able to install just the multiplayer or just the single player, or delete one or the other once you're done with it. I love the shit out of that idea. I really do. I mean, you guys know me. I'm not a multiplayer guy. I am very much a single player gamer. That is what I like to do. And I am so stoked that I don't have, that I can maybe cut down on my installs, that I can. It's not even necessarily a space thing. It's just how long it would take to download a game. Just it could be a little faster, that I don't need to install the multiplayer. So I really like that idea. I really, really like that idea. Okay, what will the PS5 look like? Honestly, because I think this is what the dev kits are looking like. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna guess there's gonna be plating or anything. This weird like thing cut out of the center of this console is really odd looking to me. But man, this generation of consoles are just gonna look weird, I guess, because you got the weird boombox look for the Series X, and you got this. Although I think again with like all black plating or even the silver plate with kind of like a, just make it look a little sleeker, take away, and you can keep the PS5 logo here, but kind of get rid of a lot of this stuff, this writing here. It can look pretty sleek, and it looks kind of small too. I actually like this design way more than the Xbox. The Xbox just looks weird to me, but that could just be my bias to PlayStation. I just stumbled on my words again. While we're likely quite some time away before Sony shows off the final box design of its PS5, we do have a decent idea of what it might look like sat on our TV shelves, thanks to leaked patents and photos of current dev kits that a number of developers are currently working with to create their new games for next gen. The rendered model above, formulated by Let's Go Digital, is an artist imagining of the PS5 based on what we've seen from the dev kit, but it's no guarantee that the final product will resemble what's currently located in game studios around the world. Meanwhile, yet another leaked patent reveals that Sony is developing a mysterious cartridge product that may or may not be compatible for the PS5. Current bets have it down as an external SSD that can be slotted into the console for easy memory management for your PS5 games, but again, it's entirely possible this has nothing to do with the PS5 at all, so take its design and appearance with a pinch of salt. But no, like I said, if this is the way the PS5 looks, I don't hate it. I wasn't a fan of it originally, but it's really kind of grown on me. So yeah, I mean, if it does end up looking like the dev kits, I like the size. I like that it still sits flat like this, as opposed to tall like the Xbox. And like I said, I think if you put like the black plating and everything on it to make it really look PlayStation-y, I think I could see this looking really dope. But again, that might just be me, but I like the look. What will the DualShock 5 be like? A newly discovered patent filed by Sony with the Japanese Patent Office recently revealed the first images of what appears to be the DualShock 5 seen above on the right hand compared with the current PS4 controller on the left, and it looks like not much is changing for Sony's gamepad. The patent reveals that the PS5 controller will be ditching the DualShock 4's light bar with modifications to the size of the traditional triggers and sticks while adding what appears to be an inch-built microphone around its base. Okay, interesting. I mean, I don't mind losing. I'm trying to remember the current PS4 on the left. Seen above. Okay, so this is the. Yeah, I don't know. No, this is the DualShock 4. Yeah, this has to be the DualShock 4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind getting rid of the light bar. That doesn't bother me. Yeah, yeah, it looks pretty much the same. Okay. Well, maybe not. I can't tell if the triggers look maybe a little smaller on the new one. Where the hell was I going? We also know that the DualShock 5 is going to be heavier than the DualShock 4, but lighter than an Xbox One pad with batteries inside, and aside from the USB-C charging, there are two key innovations that are intrinsic to the new pad, and these are straight from Sony officially. See, I don't mind that it's going to be a little heavier. I think that the PlayStation controllers have been perfectly sized. Xbox has been a little too big in my opinion. But I also have small hands, so that could be it. Let's see, haptic feedback. Gone is the rumble tech of other controllers, with Sony interested in focusing on haptic feedback that's more akin to an iPhone. Quote, with haptics, you truly feel a broader range of feedback, so crashing into a wall in a race car feels much different than making a tackle on the football field, explains Ryan in the PlayStation blog. You can even get a sense of a variety of textures when running through fields of grass or plodding through mud, end quote. So yeah, I like that. I like that better than like just the basic rumble. and adaptive triggers. Building on the sort of tech found in the Xbox One Elite controller, the PS5 pad will focus on adaptive triggers that more accurately represent what you're doing in-game. For example, you'll be able to feel the tension as a draw a bow, whatever, an arrow, or hit the gas on a rally car across rocky terrain. Okay, interesting. Quote, in combination with the haptics, this can produce a powerful experience that better simulates various actions, adds Ryan. Game creators have started to receive early versions of the new controller. We can't wait to see where their imagination goes with these new features at their disposal, end quote. We've also had a few leaked shots of the DualShock 5, or at least that's what a tipster suggests, which seemed to be an upgrade on the existing PS4 DualShock 4, but with a slightly larger touchpad and no light bar at the top of the said touchpad. Take a look. Yeah, again, I like it. I got nothing against it. Jeez, how much more do we got here? Holy hell. I might skip some of these. Yeah, yeah, you know what? Let's look at the UI, because I think this is something interesting to me. Sony confirmed to Wire that the PS5 UI is getting, quote, completely revamped from what we know and love from the PS4's version. The idea is to give you instant access to what single-player missions you could do, or what multiplayer matches you could join without even having to boot up the game. Interesting. Quote, even though it will be fairly fast to boot games, we don't want the player to have to boot the game, see what's up, boot the game, see what's up. Says Cerny, multiplayer game servers will provide the console with a set of joinable activities in real time. Single-player games will provide information like what missions you could do and what rewards you might receive for completing them, and all of the choices will be visible in the UI. As a player, you just jump right into whatever you like, end quote. Additionally, another link from 2019 reveals that Sony apparently wants to make the PS5 more accessible to stream setups, with the console including an inbuilt camera that can capture 4K footage with the click of a button, organically reacting to the lighting of your room to make sure the picture is always top quality. Perhaps the hardware's new and improved user interface could also reflect this point, with more buttons dedicated to sharing gameplay with the wider world. Okay, that last bit's interesting, but I like that idea of the UI of actually telling you like stuff that you can do before you even load up the game. My big thing is just I really hope they keep the simplicity of the PS4 UI. I like that they're going to offer us more, but so many times we see this in games. We see this with what the Xbox did with their UI and all this stuff. We see this all the time, that with more additions comes more... It becomes jumbled. It becomes way too complex. I really liked how streamlined and simple the PS4's UI is, and I hope they continue that. That might just be me, but that's my take. Yeah, again, you can go ahead and read the streaming or this VR section on your own. Again, link down in the description. But I want to keep moving on here. So, whether there'll be PS5 backwards compatibility for my PS4 games or older, Sony has confirmed that the PS5 will be backwards compatible with your PS4 games. According to the Wired article, the next-gen console won't be a digital-only machine. It'll still accept physical media, and because it's based on the PS4 architecture, it will be backwards compatible for PS4 games. Dope. There's no word on PS3, PS2, or older games as of yet, but no doubt PlayStation Now will be making the move to PS5 too. However, according to the U.S. patent filed by Sony Interactive Entertainment and spotted by Gear Nuke, there is reason to believe the PS5 will offer games from the entire PlayStation bloodline. The patent, called, quote, remastering by emulation, appears to indicate a new method of implementing high-resolution art assets into legacy software on the fly. Similar to the texture packs PC gamers have been concocting for years, remastering by emulation could serve as a cost-efficient way to improve the graphics quality of older titles without remaking them from the ground up. Sure, it's a stretch to say this equates to the ability to play our PS4, 3, 2, and 1 games on the PS5, but even so, we can see how it would be interpreted as such. This patent words are hard. This patent isn't the only sign we have the backward compatibility for older PlayStation games is on the way. Either a more recently discovered Japanese patent describes a technique that enables Sony hardware to, quote, determine whether an application is a legacy application or not, and was actually authored by PS5 lead architect Mark Cerny. Moreover, the patent examines the potential for putting imitation legacy chipsets inside newer hardware. In doing so, Sony could avoid the obstructive hurdles that often thwart emulation efforts. I really like this idea. I really, really hoping that I can play some of those great games, some of my old PS2 games. Load up Persona 3. Oh man, I'd love the shit out of that. What will the PS5 games lineup be like? The PS5 launch games library remains as elusive as its release date, and as there's a shortage of trustworthy sources to base our predictions on. Nevertheless, we do know PS5 is most of the focus for Sony's first-party studios, with Nico Partners analyst Daniel Ahmad having posted about its publicity on Reset Era. He said that while a, quote, couple of unannounced games from established franchises are still on the way to PS4, he's confident some of them will come to the PS5 as well. That could mean that The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima will simultaneously be released for PS4 and PS5. Meanwhile, a new job listing posted at Guerrilla Games website suggests that Horizon Zero Dawn 2, a sequel to the hit PS4 exclusive of 2015, is actively in the works at the studio, and could well be in development exclusively for next gen. But as for the rest of the PS5 games, we'll have to wait and see. Techland has confirmed that Dying Light 2 will also launch on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and EA has said it is working on next gen titles right now for launch 2020. So prepare yourself for an influx. So there you go, guys. There's a good amount of what we already know. The solid stuff that we already know about the PS5, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the PS5. I'm curious about the Series X. I'll say that. And the reason I had the different responses is because the PS4 impressed me. I love my PS4. My Xbox, I have an Xbox. I'll put it that way. I'm curious to see what they're going to be able to do. I'm curious to see what sort of changes or how they're going to try and fight Sony. But like I said, I'm more curious than I am excited for it. So that's my take. But we still got some more PlayStation stuff on in a second after I move articles. Continuing on with Games Radar news, the best PS5 features still haven't been announced, according to PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan. Article Alex Avard, as I said, Games Radar. Let's see here, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan has promised that the PS5... sorry, for some reason I read that as a period and not a comma. That the PS5, Sony's next-gen console releasing later this year, has a number of, quote, unique elements that make it stand out from previous iterations, much of which hasn't yet been revealed by the tech company itself. Quote, with every new console, the processor and graphics get better, explained Ryan in a new interview with Business Insider Japan, which is, of course, compelling, but we need to have unique elements too. The businessman went on to reveal that many of those bigger differences between PS5 and PS4 haven't yet been announced. Of course, a number of PS5's features, including back paddles for the PS5 for the DualShock upgrades to its reality integration, and more have been potentially Ryan is referring to. Alternatively, there's every chance the PS5 will surprise all of us with some of its yet to be debuted features, though Ryan provided no timeline on when we can expect to hear more. Okay, so back paddles on the DualShock. I've heard some people talk about that, not heard a lot of people talk about it. That's an interesting thing. My only issue is how would that feel on the... How would that make the controller feel, what they're used for? I could maybe get behind them, but I don't know. I'd have to see them and hold the controller and to really give you my take on that. The CEO also elaborated on what it feels like to wield the new PS5 controller, the DualShock 5, adding that playing Gran Turismo Sport with the upcoming gamepad is like a, quote, completely different experience. So good to use that you can't return to the original DualShock 4 after feeling it for yourself. Aren't those back paddles, aren't they mostly used for like shifting, kind of like similar to what like a racing steering wheel uses? Isn't that what a lot of times they're used for? I don't know. Like I said, I'd have to see it and hold it to give my full opinion on it. Ryan was at Sony CES conference earlier this week to reveal the official PlayStation 5 logo. The rumors of the upcoming PlayStation meeting in spring suggest we'll be hearing more from him and the PS5's lead architects very, very soon. So, and just kind of a short article telling, again, kind of hammering home the fact that, yes, there are things about the PS5 that we don't know about yet. My biggest question is, what exactly are they? And it's like they say, it kind of goes back to something I said in the last article. My biggest fear is that it's going to be too much. You know, you're going to try and do too much. You're going to try and make it too complicated. You know, I mean, I was listening to somebody talk about an anime a couple nights ago, and they said, you know, I think they were talking about Tagashi, the guy who wrote probably one of my favorite animes of all time, Yu Yu Hakusho, the original author with that, and then he went on to make Hunter x Hunter, and how I believe he said something along the lines of, you know, a lot of people believe if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, some people say if it ain't broke, break it. It's the idea that without breaking something, without going against the norms, you know, you lose. That's where real creativity and real innovation comes from. And while it's true, I think PlayStation has a chance. I give you way more information in that than you needed, but. While it's true, while yes, breaking convention and breaking that sort of norm is where you get a lot of innovation in products, the issue that I'm trying to avoid, or that I'm trying to point out is, look, if you try and do too much, you try and go too weird with it, you're going to end with a PS3 situation. And while yes, I think the PS3 did end up beating the 360 in the long run, it had a really shaky start, again, based on the fact that they were based on price, based on trying to be a little too confusing. I remember looking at the UI for the main interface menu of the PS3. Looking back on it, it's not as complex as I thought it was back in the day. Because it reminds me a lot of especially after I got a PSP. I really figured out how that UI works, and actually I really did like it. But I think the bubbles on the Vita worked better. I think the the PS4's UI is super simple, especially with folders and everything. I know a lot of people use them. I don't, but whatever. It's a personal thing. Again, it's just, I'm afraid that all these features that they're trying to try and do too much, and make it jumbled and messy, kind of similar to what the Xbox One is. I don't think they will. I have a lot of faith in PlayStation, but still, always makes you wonder. Moving on to an article on Engadget. Microsoft's first Xbox Series X games will be cross-gen releases. So it looks like they're planning on kind of doing the same thing that PlayStation is doing. This is an article by Chris Holt. Because I saw this in some of those previous articles on Games Radar, that PlayStation's probably going to be doing some... they're probably going to be doing some cross-gen sort of stuff around release, and again, not surprising that we'd be seeing a similar thing with Xbox. It's been known for a while that Halo Infinite will be available on Xbox One as well as Xbox Series X and PC. In a wide-ranging interview with MCV UK, Xbox Game Studios chief Matt Booty, that's a great name, said other first-party Series X titles will also be playable on Xbox One. In fact, Microsoft's own Series X games won't be exclusive to the console for a while. Quote, as our content comes out over the next year, 2 years, all of our games, sort of like PC, will play up and down the family of devices, Booty said. We want to make sure that if someone invests in Xbox between now and Series X, that they feel that they've made a good investment and that we're committed to them with content, end quote. Halo Infinite is a major launch title for Series X, while its availability on Xbox One might make buying a new console just for the game seem somewhat redundant. Booty noted Halo Infinite developers 343 Industries and Skybox Labs are, quote, definitely going to be doing things to take advantage of Series X features. He didn't expand on what that means, but given the upcoming console has hardware accelerated ray tracing, a variable refresh rate, and 8K capability, it's reasonable to imagine the developers will tap into those capabilities. This approach to exclusivity should make the transition to Series X smoother. People who can't afford to upgrade as soon as the console launches won't be entirely left out. Where there might be some third-party Series X exclusives at the outset, Xbox One owners will still have access to several next-gen games, even before xCloud comes into play. Okay, I believe it was... I'm trying to remember who sent me this article. I think it was Samori Roden who sent me this on Twitter, or maybe it wasn't even an article, it was just a tweet or something. It was talking about a former, I always forget what his position in Xbox was, but Mike Ibarra. It came out and said for next gen, he's getting a PlayStation. And it kind of makes me laugh, the sort of like the Verizon guy going over to Sprint, ha ha ha. It's funny, I know it's a bad joke, but it's what I'm going with. It's funny to see somebody who is, who's a big face for Microsoft moving over to PlayStation. But the reason he brings it up makes perfect sense. He's doing it because, well, I have a gaming PC, and with Game Pass and everything, I can just play those games on my PC. Why do I need to buy an Xbox? Which I'm sure people will say, well, but Microsoft's still getting the money there. I'm like, yes, but Microsoft is losing out on a console buy. It's you're just buying games from Microsoft. You're not buying, and again, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know where my brain started pulling me for a second, but that's my biggest thing here. There's a reason to buy a PS5. Because that's where I can, or to eventually buy a PS5. There's a reason to buy a Microsoft or a Sony console, because I can play those games only on a Sony console. I don't need to buy an Xbox. I don't even need to buy an Xbox One, because I buy a PC and I can play those games on my PC. And especially with Game Pass, it's making the Xbox almost completely redundant unless you already have a gaming PC. And I know. Some people are going to tell me, well, AJ, that's only if you already have a gaming PC. True. Though there's been talks that the Series X is going to probably cost more. That if the Series X really is way more powerful than the PS5, which there have been rumors about that, then the price is probably gonna be a little higher. I think if the people are thinking that the PS5 is going to be $500 and the Xbox is way more powerful, it's probably going to be $600. And at $600, well, you might as well buy just a decent gaming PC. I mean, hell, I think mine costs about $600, $700, $800. Mine's not bad. Personally, though, I'm looking at putting in another $1,000 or so and getting another one. But that's just stuff for the channel, just so I can stop recording and playing stuff all on the same PC, so I can have one PC for gaming and one for just general office work. But that's sorry, letting what's in my brain kind of come to the surface there. Again, this is just something that's always kind of been weird about the Game Pass, and you can play your stuff on Xbox or on PC or that. I'm like, it's like I said, you're not selling Xbox to me. You're selling Microsoft as a brand, but you're not selling Xbox to me. And I think that's the biggest problem with them for this generation. And again, I keep saying this. Maybe I'm looking at this through rose-colored glass or through Sony-colored glasses, because I love my PS4 and I think my Xbox One is just okay. Maybe that's why I don't have any faith in the next Xbox, but that's just where I sit right now. And I just think that Xbox is gonna stumble out of the gate again. It's just my take. Remember, guys, the scenic route starts in Switzerland. It's a shit joke, but I just wanted to bring attention to that ad because I don't know why, it made me laugh. Moving on, article by Robert Ramsey here on Push Square. Sony's target Microsoft from day one strategy will probably work for the PS5. See here on this short article, that's why I love Push Square. They keep it nice and concise. It's not like they're writing. It seems a lot less like the writers getting paid per word, like it does on some of the other websites. Let's see here. At this point, we could probably guess at Sony's PlayStation 5 strategy, and Jesus Christ, I was so used to Games Radar with their shitty grammar that no, this is actually written and edited correctly. At this point, we could probably guess at Sony's PlayStation 5 strategy and not be too far from reality. But in an interesting new games industry article, former boss of Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, Chris Deering, provides some insight into how the company handles the PlayStation brand from behind the scenes. Said article is mainly about the PS2 and how the console achieved its runaway success, but Deering, who played a huge role in solidifying PlayStation as a dominant force in gaming, goes as far to mention the upcoming PS5. According to Deering, Sony has been targeting Microsoft since the PS2 days, back when PlayStation first had to compete with the Xbox. Quote, "We targeted Microsoft from day one. We were ruthless. I'm not of this mentality anymore, but at the time it was life or death as far as I was concerned. We had this expression in our business meetings, kill them right at the start, take no prisoners when it came to Microsoft," end quote. Deering continues on that quote, "It worked at least for the PS2, and it continued to work on PS3 and PS4. I'd argue the PS3 worked as well as 2 or 4, but again, Xbox 360 actually did very well at the start. It kind of piddled out when the PS3 really got big. And it'll probably continue to work on the PS5 because we drove piles under the strength of the PlayStation equals games concepts at that stage when we were getting ready to take Microsoft on, end quote. It's especially interesting that Deering brings up PlayStation equals games, as this certainly isn't the first time that we've heard a Sony executive highlight software as the key part, or as key to the brand's success. As well, as we all know, Sony's exclusive PS4 titles have played an incredibly important role throughout this generation in particular, and and back in the summer of last year, a report on Sony's PS5 strategy said the Japanese giant will continue to push games first and foremost. See, Xbox has said a similar thing, but I have brought this up every goddamn time I talk about the PS5. They have so many exclusives, plans. They have so many great single-player games that aren't focused on the past. Xbox, from everything we've seen, every studio they've picked up small, what were indie studios, and given them bigger budgets, which is cool, which is great. I'm not trying to diminish these studios for being indie studios. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is Xbox has hidden behind the strategy of, look at all of these studios we've picked up. Fine, but which one of them is going to give you a competitor to The Last of Us? Are you expecting it to be Halo Infinite? Really? Halo Infinite is going to fight The Last of Us 2. This is what I've said, because people, I'm not saying you guys here on the channel, I'm saying I've talked with people in IRL who have told me that, oh, Xbox has exclusives. And I'm like, what of them are going to fight against The Last of Us? It's going to fight against the new God of War, another Spider-Man by Insomniac, Horizon Zero Dawn 2. What Microsoft game is going to fight against those? Again, Halo? A game that definitely still has its fan base, but it's not what it once was. It is not the draw that it used to be back in the 360 days. Again, those were days that the first-person dude bro shooter reigned supreme. Also throw third person in if you want to talk Gears of War. But that reflected the time. It was kind of I don't want to say like a punkish sort of time for games, but let's be honest, that's when first-person shooters and all this stuff were huge. Now we're moving into a day and age where a lot of stuff is focused on really pushing the art and being big single-player, being about stories. And I say we're also pushing this games as service model, which is weird, but I keep saying that won't last. I keep hoping it won't last. But we still see Sony trying to push the big single-player games. Because, well, again, these games as services generally aren't coming from Sony or Microsoft. They're coming from Ubisoft and EA. That's beside the point. I'm sorry. I'm getting off track here. Back to my main freaking point, and I'll try not to tangent. What Microsoft exclusive is going to fight The Last of Us or any of these games? Again, Forza? Okay, I get it. Forza's pretty much the premier racing game. Sure. Granted, Sony does have Gran Turismo, but it's not going to fight Forza. Fine. But even then, can Forza fight The Last of Us or any of these other games that I've mentioned? I keep going back to The Last of Us because I'm super excited for it. And yeah, I get it. They appeal to different markets, but still, at the end of the day, I think the market that The Last of Us appeals to is much wider than people who want to play a simulation racing game. And we're going to make Forza look even better. So, what sort of games like these exclusives that Sony's pumping out? I think the one Xbox exclusive that I'm super pumped for is Hellblade 2. It's because I loved Senua's Sacrifice. I'm just hoping that Microsoft hasn't put their grubby hands on it and really let Ninja Theory do what they did with the first game, which was just make something so incredible. So that's about the only thing I'm super excited for out of the Xbox, in all honesty. It's like they said, go in, go for the throats, take no prisoners. I keep saying it. Sony, I think, will just go out swinging, and Microsoft will just stand there and take it. I don't know how many new ways I can say the same exact point. All right, guys. You know what? I decided to skip over the Assassin's Creed article. Mostly, it's just rumors on what was going. You know what we will possibly see in the next Assassin's Creed game based on some leaks and some internet stuff. Supposedly, we're going to get a harder like announcement in a couple months, so I'll kind of save that for when we get the actual announcement, just because we're already running a little long. So, or at least I think we're running along. I don't know. Either way, we're going to be taking a look at the trailer for the Grand Soiree. I cannot say Soiree. There we go. Grand Soiree arcade event. This was suggested to me by Akita Touchdown. As I said at the beginning of the show, me and him will be playing some of that tomorrow, so keep an eye out.
Oh, hi friends. Are you here for my Grand Soiree? I got all gussied up for the occasion. That's a fancy way of saying dressed. I hope you like games. Ooh, shiny! Octane's having an out-of-body experience. Nobody puts Dummy in a corner.
Quit your whinging and fight.
Looks like Watson has some fun with the ring. This should be exciting. Everybody looks so fancy, which is a fancy way of saying nice. I won. Congratulations to me. That is
nope, some more.
Fresh gear, Crypto.
All right. I like the. I like the kind of proper aesthetics. I guess that's a way. It almost looks very steampunky in a way. I like the look, the new skins and everything. A lot of those game modes I really liked. You know, I like the shotguns and sniper rifles with low armor. The nighttime map just seemed really interesting to look at. There were a few others that I thought were pretty cool. There's gonna be duos. Just trying to kind of skip through here a little bit. Oh yeah, third person. I really like the idea of a third person games. I like a lot of these ideas. Actually got me kind of excited. I hadn't seen this trailer just yet. So like I said, you guys want to see, this was half showing the trailer, half kind of an advertisement for a stream we're doing that me and Akita are doing tomorrow. But you want to see some of these game modes? We'll be playing them tomorrow. I really like the idea, and that's really all I got. On to the longer video. I'd get up, use the bathroom, get a drink if I were you. All right, guys. I stood up, stretched my legs a little bit. Let's get into this. This is the Pokemon Direct from 1/9/2020. Basically, it's going to be going over some of the expansion stuff coming to Pokemon Sword and Shield. Excuse me. Of course, it has to buffer.
With you for some online battles or official
Why was it starting in the middle?
Company. In today's broadcast, I'd like to touch on two topics. Let's get started with the first topic. Have a look at the following footage.
Oh, that's right. They're bringing the Mystery Dungeon games back. I forgot about that.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX.
Okay, I probably won't do an LP for this, but honestly, I'm kind of excited about this. I did not play the original Mystery Dungeon games, but I knew some people who really liked them, so this actually really does excite me.
It's been about 15 years since Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team, and Blue Rescue Team were released for the Nintendo DS and Game Boy Advance systems in Japan. But now they will gain a new life as a Nintendo Switch title. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX will be released March 6, 2020.
Oh, jeez.
What's more, we'll release a demo version on Nintendo eShop, available later today. You'll be able to carry over your save data to the full version of the game once purchased, so please take this opportunity to get a sample of the fun. Now, for the other topic, I think we'll ask Game Freak to share it with you. Mr. Masuda, Mr. Omori, it's all yours.
Yeah, man, that's soon. Also have to give him kind of a little bit of credit there for trying to compete in March, because that month's already got a lot of big stuff.
Hello everyone, I'm Masuda from Game Freak.
Hello, and I'm Omori, also from Game Freak.
We hope everyone has been finding something to enjoy in the latest entries to the Pokemon series, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, since their release last November. Our goal is always to deliver lively new adventures that delight Pokemon trainers around the world.
We did our best to fill these titles with fun activities so that our players could have a fulfilling experience. And the Galar region is a vast...
See, you're saying fun activities. This is the saddest part about Sword and Shield to me, is that they're the most empty. I mean, I really like what they were doing. It works as a really good proof of concept that they can do this sort of more open world. I don't want to say more open world-esque sort of Pokemon game, but they can do that sort of the wild area. That's what I'm talking about. That sort of, you can have almost any Pokemon walking around in the wild area right from the start of the game. You know, you can get a lot wider variety of Pokemon from the very start. So it kind of lets you really make your team a lot more interesting. And then you have, I like the Gigantamax, I mean, or the Dynamax, whatever, Gigantamax for only certain Pokemon. That still also annoys me. I kind of wish that, I talk about it a little bit more in the actual Let's Play I'm doing. So I'll leave that for that. But again, I really like the Galar region. I like the idea of it being like a professional sport. I like the amount of customization we do on the character. I like the wild area. It does a lot of cool things. It's just so small and contained. It's just like the actual routes that you're running around. There isn't a lot to them. There's not, even the wild area itself is extremely small. It feels very watered down. And that is my biggest issue with the game. And like I said, while it makes Galar kind of boring, I think it really gives us hope for what's to come in the next Pokemon game. I'll put it that way. Or even if they, because we've seen this for the last couple versions, you know, like Ultra Sun and Moon, we might see like I honestly would say it would be Pokemon Sword and Shield Reforged. I would call it that. I'd say Pokemon Sword and Shield Reforged. You fuse the two games, so you know you can get like a Surfetched. Basically, you don't make like a sword like a Sword remake and a Shield remake, like an Ultra Sun or an Ultra Moon. You literally have it be one game, kind of like an Emerald sort of thing, and you can get, so some of the Pokemon that were only exclusive to Sword or Shield, you can get them in this remaster, or this, again, I keep saying Reforged because that's, I think the obvious title is obvious, but that's my hope, that they kind of bring them together and they kind of do a little bit more in like a halfway point between this and the next Pokemon game to come out.
We suspect you've had many new discoveries and fun encounters along your adventure. We've been thinking about how much we'd like it if everyone's Pokemon adventures could go on even longer, with more to dig into and new discoveries to explore. We've been working on plans for some time, in fact. This is why we at Game Freak are now developing the Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass. Downloadable expansions for the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield games that will be available for purchase from Nintendo eShop.
Until now, we've sometimes released new titles set in the same region as previous games, such as Pokemon Platinum version or Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon. This expansion pass will be different from those games. You'll be able to set out on new adventures using the save data you're already playing with.
We're in the thick of development now, but we've prepared some footage for you so you'll be able to at least get a feeling for what new experiences await you.
Yeah, like I said, I still hope that we do get
Have a look.
that we do kind of get I don't know, a re-release, so to speak. And can you pull Hop out of the game? Because Hop sucks. I'm going to keep saying it. Or, you know, here's an even better idea. Put voice acting in it, damn it. That Blastoise looks awesome. All right, so that was the Isle of Armor. The way initially I was thinking these expansions were going to be the same thing for both games, but now I'm going to guess that they're doing an expansion pass for Shield, which is the Isle of Armor, and this Tundra one, which is going to be the expansion for Shield, or for Sword, excuse me. I don't know how I feel about that, but I have both of them, so I guess at the end of the day, I don't really care. As far as what that is, like, I'm kind of hoping it's like new gym challenge, and like there's going to be more new gyms. Obviously, we saw some new Galarian forms of some new Pokemon, so it looks like they're bringing in some new Pokemon, new places to explore, new customization options for the character, and we're going to see. I'm going to guess similar things for Tundra, but I don't hate the idea. In all honesty, I know so many people are going to say, "Oh, it's cash grab, it's blah 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 blah." I don't hate the idea. I honestly, I like that trailer. It does make me laugh, though, that we're seeing Gigantamax forms for the starter Pokemon, which I think should have been in the game originally. In my opinion, I think they should have just been in the game. I've always thought it was weird that the starter Pokemon didn't have Gigantamax forms. Whatever. Galarian Slowpoke. Whoa. Am I seeing Galarian, Zapdos, and Articuno. Ooh, I like that. I'll also throw in Moltres because I was stalling for time. I couldn't remember the third one. Oh, okay. So they all right. So no, it doesn't seem like armor is for shield and that Tundra is for sword. No, it looks like they are going to be available for both. I like that. Okay. That kind of answers a question I was having. I've been thinking about this, and I'm probably gonna do it this way. I was originally thinking about doing a separate playthrough of both sword and shield, but now I'm thinking I probably won't, just because I think honestly it kind of depresses me how similar sword and shield were. I was thinking the way it was being sold to me, it was going to be a little more different, with the whole, there's actually all of these different gyms in Galar, there's like a minor league and a major league, and then it didn't really happen. There's like 2 gym differences between sword and shield, and they're really just the same gym challenge, just with different themes. What the fighting theme and the ghost theme for sword and shield are the same, or really it's the same gym challenge, except without little ghost hands, it's boxing gloves. And I think the 6th gym challenge in Sword and Shield, it's ice in Shield and rock in Sword, and really it's the same gym. It's the same gym challenge, just one's ice themed and one's rock themed. I'm not a fan of that. I do like though that the expansions are going to be for both games, so it does mean that I don't have to do a playthrough of both games. I'm probably only going to do one, but. Either way, sorry. I keep getting distracted. Shouldn't be out of the ordinary though. You all know I love to tangent. And okay, what the hell is this? Oh, the new legendaries. Okay.
What did you think of this first look? The Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and the Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass will be composed of the Isle of Armor, planned to be released June 2020, and the Crown Tundra, planned to be released in fall 2020. If you buy the Pokemon Sword or Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass, you'll be able to enjoy both as they're released. Each part offers a different adventure, where you'll be able to visit unseen areas of the Galar region and meet new people and Pokemon that live there. There are 2 versions of the Expansion Pass, one for Pokemon Sword and one for Pokemon Shield.
You're gonna have to buy both, aren't I?
Different versions, and you'll also run into some different people and places.
Shit.
We're hoping players can continue with the classic Pokemon experience of trading with one another and working together.
Now, without further ado, let's have the director himself present more information on the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra.
I know what that means. That means I'm going to have to buy 2 separate expansion passes. I'm acting sad. I'm not, but god damn it. I'm going to have to buy 2 because I can't help myself.
Mr. Tani?
Hello, I'm Tani from Game Freak. I'm working as the director for the Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass. The Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra are in development as we speak. So today, we'd like to show off some designs and concept art to help introduce you to these new areas. Your adventures in Galar are getting even bigger. First, let us introduce the Isle of Armor, which focuses on the theme of growth. Take a look.
The next destination in your adventure is a giant island off the shores of the Galar region known as the Isle of Armor. This island is full of beautiful nature. You'll find beaches, bogs, forests, caves, and dunes. And of course, you'll find Pokemon that you couldn't previously find in Galar dwelling there too. There's a dojo for Pokemon battles on this island, and you'll take up an apprenticeship under the Pokemon trainer who runs it. This is Mustard, who will become your mentor. He's also the mentor of Champion Leon, who you probably know quite well. In fact, Mustard has occupied the seat of champion himself in the past. You'll also encounter new rivals among your fellow apprentices. When playing with the Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass, you'll be training with Clara, who is a Poison-type user. When playing with the Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass, you will be training with Avery, who is a Psychic-type user. They're both training hard so they can someday have a gym and stadium to call their own.
Okay, you know what? That actually kind of explains something to me. And if you're playing Sword and Shield, you can buy jerseys or uniforms or whatever for the different types and whatnot. And there's a poison type and there's a steel type and there's a psychic type and flying type and all these, but these aren't gyms in the game. So okay, that's where those uniforms are coming, because you saw the Clara, the poison type girl for Sword. You saw her jersey or uniform or whatever. That's what that is. All right. So I'm gonna guess this was a plan from the start.
Next, we'd like to introduce the legendary.
And also, I guess while I'm thinking about this again, when they said that there are gyms in Galar that aren't like a major league gym or whatever, like the 8 that you're competing in the gym challenge, I'm gonna guess these expansions are where those other gyms are. These sort of like little minor league gyms. Just a guess. I'm kind of hoping that's what they are.
Pokemon that will be central to the story. Cubfu. It's a fighting-type Pokemon that strives to become stronger with single-minded dedication.
I love it already.
As you
I love
progress
it.
through your training, Mustard will entrust you with this Pokemon. Once you complete your training together with Cubfu, it will be able to evolve into Urshifu. Urshifu is a Pokemon with 2 distinct styles. There is Single Strike style, a fighting and dark type style that delivers a single strike at blinding speed. There is also Rapid Strike style, a fighting and water type style that focuses on unleashing a torrent of rapid strikes. What's more, it's been revealed that Urshifu has a Gigantamax form. Each style will have a different appearance, as well as a different G-Max move. You'll be able to evolve your Cubfu into an Urshifu in one of these 2 styles, Single Strike style or Rapid Strike style, during your adventure. Urshifu is a powerful Pokemon with a brand new ability, and it also has a new move for each of its 2 styles. Once you've completed your training, bring it with you for some online battles or official competitions. We also want to talk about Rillaboom, Cinderace, and Inteleon, final evolutions of the first 3 Pokemon you team up with in the Galar region. During your adventure in the Isle of Armor, these special partners in your teams will be able to Gigantamax. You can look forward to seeing their new forms and new G-Max moves. And as you can see here, we've got even more in the works to make sure your journey is as smooth and fun as
Cool.
possible.
Bring back apricorns.
There are new fashion items, and you'll even be able to obtain new looks for your bike. We hope you'll look forward to the new experiences coming in the Isle of Armor.
Also, if you're wondering, they showed like a Blastoise and a Venusaur. Where's the Charizard? You can get a Charmander in Sword and Shield after you beat Leon. You go back to his house, I believe it is, and you can get a free Charmander. So that's why Charmander wasn't included there. But you know what? In all honesty, I like the look of this expansion. I'm worried that there's not gonna be a whole lot of content, but I'm still hoping there's like gyms to face and there's reasons to explore. Like there's a story here. I like the idea. I'm not gonna lie. Initially I was thinking this is kind of hokey, but you know what? It's actually kind of selling me. The more I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I'm worth the money.
I'd like to
in my
discuss
opinion.
the Crown Tundra, the second area, which has a theme of exploration. I'm going to show you the information we have at the moment.
This expansion is set in the snow-swept realm of the Crown Tundra. Take a look for yourself at the beautiful scenery of this shining, silvery landscape. As it turns out, the Isle of Armor isn't the only uncharted area waiting for you all in the Galar region. In this frigid area, with its towering winter mountains, people live in small communities that support and rely on each other. Much like on the Isle of Armor, you'll be able to find Pokemon that didn't appear in the Galar region before. Fitting right in with this area's theme of exploration, there will be plenty for you to uncover. You might find a strange temple where you least expect it, or maybe spy a mysterious giant tree growing in a place it doesn't seem to belong. A certain person will appoint you as the leader of their exploration team in the Crown Tundra. You can gear up for adventure, and then head out to explore blizzard-swept fields, and even deep inside Pokemon dens, which you could only previously get a glimpse of during max raid battles. Next, we'd like to introduce Calyrex, the legendary Pokemon you'll discover during your adventure. Legends say this Pokemon once ruled over a part of Galar that included the Crown Tundra. It's characterized by its graceful, regal movements. Get ready to experience a never-before-told story about the mysteries of Calyrex.
Psychic grass type.
Will have
Interesting.
a new form of co-op play as well. This will allow you and friends to enter and explore Pokemon dens that exist underground in the Crown Tundra. Deep inside the dens, you may see legendary Pokemon from past games Dynamaxing before your eyes. You'll be able to meet and make allies of all kinds of legendary Pokemon during your adventures in the Crown Tundra, including ones you'll be able to catch through this co-op play. It also appears that some brand new legendary Pokemon are also waiting to be found somewhere in this land. And combined with the Isle of Armor, dozens of new clothing items will be added. Plus, there will be new battles waiting for you to challenge once you complete your entire game, including the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. We can't go into the details of everything, but we're working on planning and developing new ways to enjoy Pokemon even as we speak. The Isle of Armor and the Crown...
My big question about the Crown Tundra is, can I do that co-op stuff alone? Kind of like the max raid battles. Can I play them on my own with computer generated allies? Please tell me I can. Because right now the Isle of Armor seems way cooler to me. Personally, I've never been a fan of like snow-themed areas or whatever. Very rarely do I really like them. Actually, I really did like the one in Death Stranding, when you're up in the mountains. That's really cool, just because it's kind of like a mountain climbing / survival sort of thing. I really like that. But generally, like in Pokemon games, the snow areas, I've never been a big fan of. I like more like this island kind of stuff. I mean, hell, even one of my favorite arcs in the Pokemon anime was when Ash was facing off against the Orange League. If anybody remembers that section, it was, I believe, wasn't that between Kanto and Johto? I believe. If somebody wants to correct me on that, feel free. But yeah, I right now Isle of Armor is definitely my pick, or is my favorite out of these two. I mean, the Crown Tundra seems cool, but again, as long as I don't have to do that legendary, hunt legendary Pokemon with people, I'm all for it. I love both of these then.
Tundra areas themselves are actually two key examples of the things we're working on. Both areas are in fact seamless.
What, are you going to add more?
Much like the wild area you can already experience in the Galar region, where players are able to move around freely and control the camera. Of course, you'll be able to connect with other trainers and play with them too. There will be Pokemon dens as well, and you'll be able to engage in max raid battles against Pokemon that haven't previously appeared in the Galar region. There's more to see and do on the Isle of Armor and in Tundra than there was even in the wild area. We'll bring you more information about them in future news reports, so please stay tuned.
Okay, so what this sounds like is they're taking the idea of the wild area and expanding on it, which is actually exactly what I wanted to see them do. This is actually what I wanted out of my Pokemon game, is less static camera and more of that sort of you can run around anywhere and experience any Pokemon depending on the weather or whatever. I loved that idea of the wild area, and it seems like these are taking that and just running with it. I am more, the more and more I'm hearing about these, the more and more I'm sold on it. More and more sold I am on them.
What did you think? We at Game Freak are all working hard to bring you new content, so you can spend more time having fun in the Galar region. We hope you're as excited as we are for what's to come.
Thank you, Mr. Tani. On the Isle of Armor and in the Crown Tundra, you'll see some familiar Pokemon that didn't appear in the Galar region before. There will be more than 200 Pokemon species that appear in these areas, and you can add to your team, including the legendary Pokemon mentioned before.
Additionally, we'll be distributing free updates for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield that will coincide with the releases of the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. These updates will allow people who don't have the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield expansion pass to obtain the Pokemon that appear on the Isle of Armor and in the Crown Tundra through other means, such as trading.
Okay.
Players will also be able to bring over Pokemon to their games from the cloud service Pokemon Home, as long as the Pokemon appear in the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield expansion packs.
I like these ideas. I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, of course you have to get the expansion pass to get those particular Pokemon. I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. It is what it is.
Pokemon Home is planned to launch in February 2020. We intend to release even more details before then, so please wait just a little bit longer.
It's a paid service. Yeah, I'm good.
Finally, we have some more news for our Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield players. Starting today, it seems like you're more likely to run into Gigantamax Colossal, Gigantamax Lapras, and Gigantamax Flapple or Gigantamax Appleton in max raid battles in the wild area. Face these powerful Pokemon with your friends. There will also be a software update going live available later today. Once you've received the update, head to Wedgehurst Station. In Pokemon Sword, you'll encounter Clara, while in Pokemon Shield, you'll run into Avery. You'll also encounter a Galarian Slowpoke that's wandered in from the Isle of Armor. You can try to catch it and add it to your team. Galarian Slowpoke can evolve into Galarian Slowbro if you use an item that can be found on the Isle of Armor, or into Galarian Slowking if you use an item that can be found in the Crown Tundra. Don't forget to check it out.
What did you think? Today, we've finally been able to show you some of what we at Game Freak are hoping to achieve going forward. We hope we've been able to get you excited for the continuing adventures waiting for you in the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. Each part offers a different adventure. We'll do our best to fill it to the brim with adventures like you've never experienced before.
Whether you're just starting with Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, or you've done everything there is to do, we'll do our best to develop something that everyone can enjoy.
Stay tuned for more updates in the future.
My thanks to everyone from Game Freak. The Pokemon Sword Expansion Pass and Pokemon Shield Expansion Pass, which contains both the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, will be available for pre-purchase on Nintendo eShop later today. You'll also be able to access Nintendo eShop directly from the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield menu once you install the latest update for your game. As a special purchase bonus, we've also prepared some clothing items that can be used starting today. Pokemon will continue to try new things in 2020 to bring fun and joy to people around the world. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, I've made my opinions on the expansions pretty clear. I like them, honestly. I like what they're doing. I can see where some people are still a little frustrated with Sword and Shield. A lot of people have said this. I've heard very mixed things on this one. I've heard some people say this is the worst Pokemon game ever. Some saying that this is the best one. Some people who are like me are saying it's fine, it's good. I'm just curious to see what they're going to do going forward, especially with stuff on the Switch. And I hope it's more wild area stuff, and what it sounds like they're saying these expansions are going to be, where it's going to be all like the wild area. I like that idea, and I'm way more interested in this. I gotta say, it took initially when I was just reading articles on it, I was just kind of like meh. But now seeing the direct, I really am kind of excited for them. So there you go, guys. That was the weekly show. Once more, sorry it was so late. I will try not to do this in the future, or that much in the future. As always, I will let you guys know if there's ever going to be a delay or something. You can always find those over on the social media platforms, primarily Twitter. That's the one I use more often than anything else. I have a Facebook and I keep it updated, but generally Twitter's the best place to get a hold of me, if not through the YouTube comments. So I want to say, as always, thank you so much for watching. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned more next time. Till then, my name's AJ Gills. This is Something Game Channel. I'm out.